Welcome to the Land Your Bet Sports Betting Show. Late night here on Wednesday after another really good night. Going to go over that record with you guys right now. Got a few best bets already in for this Pacers and Bucks game. Also going to be looking at the Knicks and Sixers game in a separate video tomorrow morning, coming out pretty early there. So make sure to subscribe to that page. I'm going to be doing that live stream, as we know, each and every day now, 5:30 p.m. Eastern on Thursday. Going to have a special guest with me on Thursday, another special guest on Friday. So make sure you guys tune in. Let's get into Thursday. 4-1 plus 3 units. That's 7.2 units up now in the last couple days. Needed that after a rough couple days last week. Pulled it together there, mitigated our losses, and we are up a nice bit here over these playoffs as well. 4 bets that we hit on the day on Wednesday. As you can see, we hit the Tatum under, hit the Drew and D White parlay there in the same game. Pritchard, we hit live. So hopefully you're in the Discord as well, because that's where I'm giving out those live bets when these games turn on. Tick the Dallas side, -2.5. Put a bunch of these, actually all of these bets came together on the live stream. Didn't even have a video yesterday due to unforeseen circumstances. But either way, feeling really good about the way we ended up with the live stream bets that we made there. For the playoffs now, we are up 7.5 units. Still kind of being carried by the sides and totals, a little 1-0 on Wednesday night with the sides and totals with Dallas, and then also hit that parlay, which was really helpful. So we'll keep trucking along here, but let's dive into Bucks Pacers. Looking at the Pacers injury report, nothing to report here. Everybody's going to be playing in this one, and everybody that we've seen all series long. As for the Bucks, this is the entire conversation around this game is Giannis and Dame Lillard and the questionable tags that they both have. I would say they're both definitely leaning towards doubtful. It actually seems like Giannis might play a little bit more likely than Dame is to play. If not, if both of them are out, we're going to see Bobby Portis back in that starting lineup. And then you're going to have Pat Bev back in the starting lineup playing about 38, 40 minutes. Don't know why I left him off of this slide, but you can see that he's going to be, he's going to be playing a ton more minutes. If both of these guys don't go, I don't know that much changes. I think that the Bucks have kind of figured some stuff out, and we'll get into that here in just 1 minute. First, I want to focus on Pascal for a minute, looking at a possible bet around him. Games 1 and 2 versus games 3 and 5, much different for Pascal. So, I mean, look at everything here. Minutes are the same, but the points dropped by about 22. The field goal attempts dropped by a 10 a game exactly. And then the three-pointers dropped by, he went from making 2 to basically not making any at this point. And then as far as the free throws go, he made a few more free throws in the first part of the game, in the first part of the series, rather, and wasn't really able to continue that in games 3 to 5. So what changed? His defender changed. Pretty simply. That's really just what it came down to. It was a really nice, easy split to put my finger on, which is Brook Lopez did not guard him in games 3 to 5. He did guard him in games 1 and 2. So in the first 2 games with Brook being the primary defender on Pascal, you can see he was just too quick for him. He took him all over the floor and just had his way. He scored 27 points in those 10 minutes that he was the primary defender. And Brook was still around for the other moments in time where he wasn't the primary defender. He might have been more of the secondary or even tertiary defender as the dude who plays drop coverage. But when he was actually the dude one-on-one with Pascal, he took him out to the three-point line. He took him into the mid-range, and he was 12 of 18 overall from the field in that time frame. Didn't really get to the free throw line, but it's because he was hitting so many jump shots, right? Then Bobby Portis came, and Bobby Portis played on Pascal there for the last 3 games, except for game 4, obviously, where Bobby was predominantly off the floor because he got kicked out of the game so early, right? But before that, he did guard him for a couple minutes, and then when he came off, they still kept Brook Lopez off of him. They put guys like Chris Middleton. You saw some Malik Beasley on Pascal. You never saw Brook Lopez go back. They even had some Jay Crowder minutes in that game so that he could guard Pascal, who was also much more successful at doing that than Brook Lopez. So Brook was really, good defender in his own right, but not a one-on-one defender against Pascal. Bobby Portis, although we all love him scoring points these days when Giannis isn't in for this Bucks team, he started his career as a defender. He was an enforcer on teams like the Bulls and the Knicks, right? And when he came here to the Bucks, then he started to get a little bit more of that jump shot. He started to pull a three-pointer out of his pocket and can shoot from deep as well. So the thing is he's always been a great defender, and that's going to be what he continues to do now that they found that Glenn Rivers, Coach Doc and company have found Bobby Portis to be so successful as a defender on Pascal. I would imagine he's going to be playing on him again, which is why my first bet here is Pascal to continue to go under, which he's done in the last 3 games at 3 to 5 after that really strong output with Brook Lopez defending him. Now you see other guys who are much more adept at guarding him, and he's not even taking the same amount of shots, 10 fewer shots per per game in these last 3 than those first 2. So not even going to get too many opportunities. We're going to go under 22.5 points for Pascal. Next bet is going to be a side or total here. Not going to be a player prop for the second one that we've got from this game, but it's all predicated on how much differently this Pacers team is playing in the playoffs since the regular season. And I'm giving this credit to the Bucks, honestly. Like, I really do think the fact that they've taken this pace and to exactly where they want, from 102 per 100 possessions during the regular season down to a 92 pace here. And that's been pretty much every game has been about a 92 pace. It's not like it's fluctuated. One was really fast, one was the other slow. No, they've all been slow. All of them have been at 92 or so, 6.5 fewer fast break points per game in these playoffs. So we know the Bucks are getting back on defense, and the paint points, like the Bucks are making this team hit jump shots to beat them and not getting anything to the paint. And during the regular season, they had 57.9, 58 paint points per game. Did the Pacers? That was best in the league, right? And now they're at 43, which would be good for worst in the league. So they're obviously doing something right here in Milwaukee, the way that they're slowing things down, getting back on defense, and just crowding the paint. And that's worked really, really well, even though they're down 3-2. The fact that they're only down by 1 without without Giannis for the whole series and without Dame for now 2 games in a row, plus a game where he was hobbled for the majority of it, I'd say that's pretty impressive. So we're just going to keep going and take them plus 8.5, minus 108 for a full unit here for the Bucks to cover 8.5 points. I'm not even really banking on Giannis or Dame coming back, because even if they do, I don't know how much of an impact they could possibly have on this game after being as injured as they have been with their respective injuries. So I'm just going to continue to rely on Chris Middleton and Bobby Portis and Pat Bev and Malik Beasley and all these dudes who have stepped up and played a little bit above their pay grade as of late. We're going to go right back to them to cover 8.5 points here in game 6. Quick reminder also about Props.cash. That is one of the main tools that I use, pretty much the main tool at this point. Really excited to have started a partnership with them. So if you want 25% off on your first month from their awesome product there, you can use code LYB24 and kind of jump into it and see what you think of it for this the rest of the playoffs, really. And this is what I'm going to be using on the live stream at 5:30 p.m. Eastern every day as well. Kind of the homepage for what we do there. Really nice one-stop shop to get everything we need. So little interest, if you do have some interest in Props.cash, this is a good way to get into the action. All right, more bets, and we're going to be looking at Obi Toppin here. So what I really like here for Obi is, honestly, I just wanted to show you how well he's played against Milwaukee. So he had one game, or the first game that they played against each other this year, Obi played like 9 minutes, didn't really do anything, put up basically no stats. But since then, they played 9 games since that first one, including these 5 playoff games that they've already played here. 20.9 minutes per game, about what he's got in the playoffs as well, right around 18, 19 minutes in the playoffs, and had a couple games well over 20 minutes actually as well. The points per game are at 11 points per game over these last 9. The field goal attempts 4 for 9 from the field, and it's actually like 4.2 for about 8.8, right? So I just rounded up and down to make it simple. But overall, with the actual decimals, his field goal percentage is 78%. So really high field goal percentage, but taking really good shots, a lot of open catch and shoots, or everything going to the rim, as we know for Obi, who's a really high flyer, right? The rebound chances are also very, very impressive. So in this series, actually in the last 4 games or so, he's at about 9 or 10 rebound chances per game. In these last 9 games for this team, he's up to 8.5, like overall, 9 games in a row versus Milwaukee, 8.4 rebound chances, good for 5.7 rebounds. His rebound prop on the night is going to be 4.5, and you can get that for some pretty good money if you go to the over. Plus, the points there are at about 8.5 on most books at this point for Obi. What I'm doing for my best bet with Obi is going to be both of them combined, 13.5 rather, points and rebounds, minus 102 on FanDuel for a full unit. And the thing is like I'm projecting him at about 20 minutes, and I think 18 to 20 is fair. The thing, if he gets to 18 minutes, we still have an edge enough to play this bet over. If he gets to 20 minutes, it's a really nice edge that we get here, where it's about 20% or so in terms of like the value and the expected value that we get from this bet with the price point that it's at about minus 102. So my projections are right at about 29 field goals, 5 boards, right? And probably about 9 rebound chances once again for Obi, who's been doing that consistently in this series at this point. You can consider both the points and the rebounds as solo plays if you want to do that. I would definitely lean towards the rebound as a solo play because it's like plus 105 if you take that by itself. I hit the points and rebounds, but we'll talk about Obi a little bit more on the live stream tomorrow, I'm sure. One more reminder, Discord is live. So if you want to jump in there, the link is in the description of this video and every video moving forward. But that is where I give these bets as soon as I have them. So you can make sure you get these same odds. Plus, obviously, there's a lot of conversation going on. A couple live bets that I just put in the Discord. Not everything makes it to, say, Twitter or the videos, but Discord is where you can definitely get a hold of me directly. And we talk a little bit more about these bets and also obviously get this information as soon as it's right. Closing it out with a household name, I'm sure, Ben Shepard. And we're talking about Ben Shepard here and his minutes. And that's kind of why I started to look at him, realizing this dude's been coming in the early parts of this game as though he's the first backup off the bench, which he has been in the last 2 games, playing more than 20 minutes in both those games. So this is a graph from popcorn.net. So I really recommend checking that out. The description of that is going to be in the video, or excuse me, the link to that is going to be in the video as well, but it's popcornmachine.net, and it's a really good way to see game flow. So if you look at the middle of the graph here, you can see Ben Shepard, and you see the yellow part is where he was on the bench. Then that the blue is where he comes in the first quarter. So that's about halfway through the first quarter, as you can see, based on where the first quarter is. And you can see he is the first sub off the bench, and this is from game 3, right? So 2 games ago, or excuse me, game 4, 2 games ago, and he came off the bench at the same time as Obi Toppin and as TJ McConnell. So he was coming off the bench at the exact same time as the very first dudes off the bench and getting back onto the floor. And that's the same concept here. This is game 2. Very similar. He's in the middle there once again. He came in with Obi Toppin and even before TJ McConnell. So it's when he's getting in the game that makes you go, oh, he's not playing scrub minutes when they're up or down by 20 points. He's coming in as an impactful player that they like having on the floor. He's been a plus in one of these 2 games. Not very many pluses for them in the last game in terms of their plus minus on the floor. But Ben Shepard has been very effective shooting really, really well for this team and has gotten himself 24 or so minutes over these last 2 games. So you look at this stat right here. In the first game, only played 9 minutes. Then in the next 4, he's averaging 20. And like I said, making it to about 24, 26 minutes a couple times in 2 of those 4 games. But 20 minutes, 7.5 points, right? Only 4 field goal attempts in these on average in these 4 games, but we only need him to hit 2. This points prop, which by the way, I didn't make clear yet, it says it on the screen for you, over 3.5 points for Ben Shepard, because that's also minus 105. MGM is really good at giving us these early looks at some of these backup players. You can call it a sucker bet, you can call it what you want, but the minutes have been rising for Ben Shepard in a way that makes me go, I mean, I know he's been hitting 69% of his field goals, nice, and 62.5% of his 3-point shots overall. So I don't expect that to continue forever. But I only need him to hit 50% if he's going to be taking 4 shots and hopefully in some free throws in there as well. By the way, he's gotten to the free throw line a couple, more than a handful of times in a couple games here. So I like everything I'm seeing from him. Plus, he's the exact type of player that's going to usually have success against Milwaukee. If you check out Courtside Pal, I have the link to Courtside Pal in the video description as well. And I would check that out because it's a player profile versus team defense. So you can kind of see his shooting profile and his scoring profile, which are made very clear if you go to courtsidepal.com. They both really like his numbers or his profile and his makeup against this Bucks team and the way that he's able to score from where he's scoring from, which a lot of it is the 3-point line where the Bucks are pretty vulnerable a lot. So we're going to go back to Ben Shepard here, over 3.5 points to just basically make us 2 buckets, man, or a 3 and a free throw, and we're good to go. And that is all the time that I have for you guys in this one. Definitely subscribe to that page. Goes a long way to help out the channel, and like the video, obviously, as well. Jump in the comments. Let me know who you guys are betting on. And then get in that Discord. Link is in the description of the video. Also, going to see you tomorrow, 5:30 p.m. Eastern time, as we're now doing this live stream every day throughout the playoffs. Weekend time, we go a little bit earlier, but we'll get into that later. For now, definitely want to make sure that you get in there. Bring your bets. Jump in the comments, as it said below, and we'll go over that together. I'll show you the tools that I'm using to find these bets, and we can all become better together, right? So safe gambling, best of luck, and until I see you next, happy betting.